In Asia, these vehicles are like unofficial mascots that come with handlebars, noisy horns, and a habit of swerving for no reason. They don't just take you places, they whisk you into a story you didn't know you were part of. Warning: side effects may include sudden joy, crazy laughter, and a newfound obsession with coconut-shaped vehicles. Now join us on a ride with the coolest vehicles you can only find in Asia. Bamboo train. First up, we're heading to a place full of history, charm, and one of the coolest rides you've probably never heard of. Can you guess where? Welcome to Cambodia, home of the legendary bamboo train, or as the locals call it, the nori. At first glance, it looks super simple, just a bamboo platform on wheels with a small engine attached. But don't let its low-key look fool you. This thing flies down old railway tracks at speeds of up to 30 miles per hour. It's like a countryside coaster, but powered by pure ingenuity. Originally built by local farmers to move goods and people between villages, the bamboo train has evolved into a must-try experience for travelers. And trust us, it's not just transportation, it's an adventure. You're sitting right on the platform, nothing between you and the open air, surrounded by stunning rural landscapes. It's peaceful, it's breezy, and it's wildly fun. Now here's the wild part. If two bamboo trains meet head-on, there's no traffic light or switch. One of them literally gets taken apart. Yes, taken apart. Lifted off the track and rebuilt after the other passes. It's teamwork, local know-how, and total chaos, in the best way possible. And get this, the tracks it runs on? They're leftovers from Cambodia's old colonial railway. So when you hop on this ride, you're not just moving forward, you're rolling through history too. This isn't just a quirky ride, it's a slice of Cambodia's heart, built by locals and kept alive by travelers who love a little adventure with their view. Jeepney. Next up, we're cruising into the colorful chaos of the Philippines, and trust us, you're going to want to see this. Imagine a vehicle so full of personality, it's practically a moving art piece. Welcome to the world of the Jeepney. Easily one of the coolest, most unique rides in all of Asia. At first glance, it looks like a party on wheels. Bold colors, chrome details, hand-painted murals, religious quotes, culture icons. See it splashed across these rolling masterpieces. And the best part? No two jeepneys are ever the same. Each one is a reflection of its driver, its neighborhood, and a whole lot of Filipino pride. But here's the crazy part. These iconic vehicles actually started out as surplus military jeeps left behind by the United States after World War II. Filipinos took those rugged army rides and turned them into something completely their own, stretching them out, decorating them like rolling parades, and using them to connect communities all over the country. Hop into a jeepney and you're not just getting from point A to point B. You're stepping into a living piece of culture. Inside, it's usually packed with locals, sharing stories, jokes, and sometimes even snacks. It's social, it's vibrant, and it gives you a real sense of everyday life in the Philippines. You'll spot jeepneys everywhere, from the buzzing streets of Manila to quiet rural towns. They're affordable, easy to hop on and off, and perfect for short or long trips alike. With space for around 20 passengers, they handle the city's traffic like total pros, weaving in and out with the confidence of a street-savvy local. And for the record, jeepneys don't have strict doors or rigid bus stops. There's an open-door vibe literally, where people hop on and off at marked stops or whenever the driver gives the nod. While you wait, there's often street food vendors nearby selling everything from grilled skewers to sweet snacks. So even waiting feels like part of the adventure. And during festivals, that's when the jeepneys go all out. Decked in flags, lights, and jaw-dropping artwork, they become mobile celebrations of Filipino tradition, creativity, and community spirit. Honestly, it's like a fiesta on 4 wheels. Cylo. Now imagine this. You're lounging in a comfy seat, the breeze on your face, the buzz of scooters whizzing by, and the scent of sizzling street food in the air. No, it's not a dream. It's a ride through Vietnam on one of the most charming and unique modes of transport you'll ever come across, the Cylo. The Cylo is Vietnam's 3-wheeled bicycle taxi, and it's not just a way to get from A to B. It's like sightseeing on cruise control. Originally rolling onto the streets back in the 1940s, these cozy pedicabs became the go-to way to explore Vietnam's cities before buses and motorbikes took over. And even now, they're still rolling strong, carrying passengers not just through the streets, but through time. Picture a giant stroller for grown-ups, but cooler. You get to sit up front in an open padded seat while your driver pedals from behind like a laid-back tour guide. No steering, no stress, just kick back and soak in the energy of Vietnam. Think of it as the rickshaw's chill cousin that loves taking the scenic route. What makes riding a Cylo so special isn't just the comfort, it's the vibe. You're not boxed in like a cab or zooming past like a motorbike, you're in it, up close with the action. Every ride is its own mini adventure. Vendors shouting out their specials, kids playing by the sidewalk, the clatter of fresh produce being weighed at markets. It's a front row seat to real Vietnamese life. And these little three-wheelers? They're sneaky good. They can glide through alleys and weave between tight corners that bigger vehicles wouldn't dare try. It's like being on a VIP tour that can squeeze through the secret back doors of the city. But the best part? The drivers. Many are lifelong locals who know every street, shortcut, and backstory. Strike up a chat, and you might hear tales of old Saigon, hidden food spots, or personal stories that turn your simple ride into something unforgettable. Elephant taxi. Only in Thailand can your taxi snack on bananas and splash through rivers while you enjoy the view. Because one of the coolest rides you can catch doesn't have 4 wheels, a meter, or a horn. No. Instead, it's covered in wrinkles, moves with slow, majestic power, and occasionally flaps its ears. That's right, we're talking about the elephant taxi. Now maybe you might be thinking, wait, you can actually ride an elephant? Of course yes, and not just anywhere, but through lush jungles, ancient ruins, and rivers straight out of a movie scene. It's kind of like trading in your Uber for a living, except way friendlier and way cooler. Thailand is famous for its rich traditions, and elephants have long been part of that story. These gentle giants aren't just animals, they're national icons. In Thai culture, they symbolize strength, wisdom, and even good luck. Back in the day, elephants were used in royal ceremonies and heavy labor, but now, they offer travelers a once-in-a-lifetime way to explore the countryside in slow, cinematic style. Riding one of these incredible creatures feels more like a magical quest than a taxi ride. You're swaying gently on the elephant's back, trekking through dense jungle paths, wading across shimmering streams, and spotting wildlife you'd never see from the window of a bus. It's like nature's version of a convertible, but way more unforgettable. And here's the thing, this isn't some gimmick ride around a parking lot. When you hop on an elephant in Thailand, you're usually with a mahout, a trained caretaker who's been with that elephant for years, sometimes since birth. These mahouts don't just guide the elephant, they bond with them. It's not just transportation, it's an experience. Think of it as a nature tour, cultural lesson, and bucket list moment all rolled into one slow, majestic ride. Bullock cart. Let's switch gears and head to the heart of rural India, where the pace is slower, the air smells like earth after rain, and tradition rolls by on 4 wooden wheels. We're talking about the bullock cart, an age-old vehicle that doesn't need gas, gears, or even a steering wheel. All it takes? 2 majestic bulls and a whole lot of heritage. While cities buzz with scooters and traffic jams, this humble cart gives you a front-row seat to India's peaceful countryside, where time seems to take a deep breath and slow down. Imagine this. You're sitting on a wooden platform, gently rocking as 2 powerful bulls trot ahead, their hooves rhythmically tapping the dirt road. The only sounds are the creak of wooden wheels and the occasional moo in the distance. It's like nature's version of a convertible. No engine, no stress, just you, the open landscape, and a ride that feels like a scene out of a folktale. For generations, bullock carts have been the go-to ride for farmers, families, and traders in rural India. These carts haul everything: people, produce, firewood, even wedding guests. And they do it with a kind of rugged grace that modern vehicles just can't match. It's like the pickup truck of the past, powered not by horsepower, but by actual horsepower, or in this case, bull power. And here's where it gets even cooler. The bond between the driver, often a farmer, and his bulls is something to admire. It's not just transportation, it's teamwork. These animals aren't treated like machines. They're trusted partners, trained and cared for like family. They know the paths, the routines, and even respond to soft commands like they're part of a well-rehearsed dance duo. It's the kind of connection built through years of shared sunrises, muddy fields, and monsoon runs. And don't think bullock carts are only for the fields. During festivals, these carts get a serious glow-up. We're talking bright fabrics, bells, flowers, and paint jobs that would put a parade float to shame. They become rolling works of art, turning village roads into moving celebrations of culture and community. Water buffalo cart. Say konnichiwa, which means hello, to one of Japan's most peaceful and unexpected ways to travel, the water buffalo cart. No, this isn't some ancient relic sitting in a museum. It's very much alive, and it's still cruising the tranquil shallows of Iriomote Island, tucked away in the tropical paradise of Okinawa. If riding in a slow-moving wooden cart pulled by a giant, gentle water buffalo sounds like something out of a Studio Ghibli movie, that's because it is. This isn't your average commute. It's more like time travel mixed with a nature retreat. While the world races ahead in bullet trains and electric cars, here you get to slow it way down. Think of it as Japan's most meditative Uber ride, but instead of city noise, you're surrounded by the soothing soundtrack of soft hooves in water, birdsong, and the occasional breeze rustling through palm trees. Originally, these carts were used to move people and goods between the smaller islands in Okinawa. Today, they've become a beloved tradition, part ride, part cultural immersion, and 100% charming. You hop into a wooden cart, sit back, and let your four-legged guide, a calm and powerful water buffalo, lead you across shallow tidal flats, like a gentle cruise across a natural mirror. And here's where it gets magical. As you drift along at buffalo pace, your guide, often a local farmer or elder, might start singing a traditional Okinawan folk song, or strum a tune on the sanshin, a three-stringed instrument that looks a bit like a banjo and sounds like pure nostalgia. It's like getting a live concert, a nature tour, and a storytelling session, all in one ride. You'll pass through tiny villages where life moves to the rhythm of the tides and catch glimpses of a Japan that most tourists never see. Quiet, connected, and beautifully simple. There are no neon lights or vending machines here, just lush landscapes, clear water, and the deep cultural roots of a community that lives in harmony with nature. And let's not forget the star of the show, the water buffalo. In Okinawan culture, this animal isn't just a beast of burden. It's a symbol of strength and resilience. These creatures are treated with deep respect, often cared for like members of the family. They're steady, calm, and absolutely unbothered by the modern rush. It's like riding with a wise old friend who's been doing this for centuries. And honestly, they probably have pedal-powered rickshaw. Now this vehicle probably doubles as a street art gallery on wheels. Let's take a spin through the lively streets of Bangladesh, where one of the coolest and most culturally rich ways to get around isn't a car, scooter, or bus. It's the pedal-powered rickshaw. Think of it as a mashup between a taxi, a street art gallery, and a living piece of tradition, all on three wheels. These rickshaws aren't just eco-friendly. They're the heartbeat of urban life in cities like Dhaka, Chittagong, and Sylhet. While the world rushes ahead with electric cars and bullet trains, Bangladesh keeps it real with this timeless, people-powered ride. It's like the bicycle's cooler, more colorful cousin who knows all the back roads and stories. Here's what makes them stand out: the art. Each rickshaw is a literal moving canvas, hand-painted with incredible detail. You'll see everything from dramatic village scenes and religious motifs to portraits of movie stars and tigers mid-pounce. No two rickshaws are the same. Each one tells a story, like a tattoo sleeve with wheels. But hopping into one isn't just about getting from one point to another. It's about soaking in the chaos and charm of the city. Whether you're weaving through tight alleys, cruising past roadside tea stalls, or catching glimpses of fruit vendors balancing baskets on their heads, the experience is up close, raw, and real. You're not just watching life in Bangladesh, you're part of it. And the drivers? These folks are local legends. Many have been pedaling through the same neighborhoods for decades. They don't just steer the rickshaw, they narrate your journey, offering tidbits of history, personal anecdotes, and maybe even tips on where to get the best street food samosa. It's like getting an informal, unscripted city tour from someone who knows it better than Google Maps ever could. Even with the rise of motorbikes and ride-sharing apps, the pedal-powered rickshaw still rules the road in many areas, especially where bigger vehicles can't squeeze through. Plus, let's be honest, in today's climate-conscious world, this zero-emission hero deserves a standing ovation. Subscribers pick. Check out this Asian guy riding a rhino. Now, is he doing it for fun? Or maybe there are no cars around? Could it be a tradition he's following, where using modern vehicles might cause something bad to happen? And hold on, aren't rhinos supposed to be dangerous? After all, most people are pretty scared of them. What's your take on this? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Coco Taxi. Let's take a quick detour to the streets of Cuba, where some of the coolest taxis don't have 4 doors, fancy meters, or even windows. Instead, they look like something straight out of a beachy cartoon. Check out the Coco Taxi, Cuba's open coconut-shaped sunshine yellow ride that's part scooter, part rickshaw, and all kinds of tropical fun. Imagine cruising through Havana, Varadero, or Trinidad in what looks like half a coconut on wheels. That's right, these little 3-wheeled wonders have a round fiberglass shell, a zippy 2-stroke engine, and enough charm to stop a parade. Riding one feels like someone crossed a Vespa with a fruit stand, and we're not mad about it. The name says it all, Coco Taxi, because it literally looks like an open coconut. These quirky rides usually seat 2 or 3 people in comfy bucket-style seats tucked behind the driver. It's open, breezy, and perfect for soaking in the Caribbean sun. Think golf cart meets island Tuk Tuk, with a whole lot more personality. Here's a cool backstory. This tropical ride was dreamed up by José Burgal Murciano, a brilliant inventor from Valencia, Spain. Once he got the green light, he shared all the plans with Cuba, making it possible to build these fun little taxis right on the island. By the late 1990s, Coco taxis were zooming around Havana, mostly aimed at giving tourists a chill and colorful way to explore. But what really sets the Coco Taxi apart? It's not some polished company fleet. It's a bunch of locals doing their thing. Most of the time, it's just regular people trying to earn an honest living, which keeps the prices lower and the experience way more personal. No scripted tours here, just real conversations, maybe a local music playlist, and a whole lot of Cuban hospitality. Think of it like Cuba's version of an auto rickshaw, but dipped in sunshine and shaped like fruit. It's compact enough to weave through traffic, cool enough to handle the heat, and quirky enough to make every ride feel like a scene from a travel movie. Whether you're passing colorful colonial buildings or gliding along the Malecon with the sea breeze in your face, a ride in a Coco Taxi is pure Caribbean joy. Bamo. Before Uber, Indonesia had its own rideshare MVP. And no, it doesn't come with an app. A Bamo is Indonesia's OG rideshare. It's a small shared minibus or van that serves as public transportation, especially in places where buses don't run and taxis are too pricey. Think of it as a cross between a neighborhood shuttle and a carpool on steroids. Bamos are a lifesaver in rural and less developed areas. They're usually cheap, super accessible, and used by everyone from students and market-goers to workers heading home. While they're technically on fixed routes, there's a good dose of flexibility. You can hop on and off anywhere along the way, just like hailing a ride from your street corner. If you're expecting a strict schedule, Bamos might test your patience a little. They often don't leave until they're full, so departure times can feel more like suggestions than rules. But hey, in Indonesia's laid-back lifestyle, that's all part of the ride. Think of it like a party bus that waits for guests to show up before it hits the road. One of the coolest things about Bamos is the fare. It's almost always affordable. But here's the catch. Prices can be, let's say, flexible. It's totally normal and smart to ask or even negotiate your fare before hopping in. Locals do it all the time. It's kind of like buying snacks at a street market. You wouldn't just pay the first price you hear. While Bamos used to be everywhere, their presence today is mostly limited to certain areas in and around Jakarta, like Ben Hill, Tanjung Priok, and Kramat Jati, plus some other towns and rural routes across the archipelago. Over time, many cities have replaced Bamos with newer forms of public transport, like bajajs or modern minivans. But in the places where they still operate, Bamos are an essential part of daily life. Fun fact, these humble vehicles actually arrived in Indonesia as part of a disaster relief package from Japan back in the early 1960s. They were never mass-produced, but they carved out their own space in the transport scene, especially in tight-knit neighborhoods where maneuvering a full-size bus just doesn't make sense. Tuk Tuk. Tuk Tuks might be the unofficial mascots of Thailand's city streets, zippy, colorful, and with just enough engine growl to make you look twice. But before these motorized three-wheelers became icons of Bangkok traffic and Instagram feeds, their granddaddy was the humble Sam Lor, which literally means 3 wheels in Thai. Introduced way back in the early 1930s, these pedal-powered cycle rickshaws were once the go-to ride, until they were pushed off the main roads due to safety concerns. Fast forward to the 1960s, and Thailand started importing auto rickshaws from Japan to replace the Sam Lor. That's how the Tuk Tuk rolled into town. Its name? It's believed to come from the distinct tuk 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 sound of its engine, a kind of cute sputtering purr that stuck around. In Thai, the pronunciation even falls somewhere between a T and a D, giving it its quirky charm. Now, if you think tuk-tuks are just tourist traps because they're always clustered outside major attractions like packs of street-savvy vultures, think again. Sure, visitors ride them for the novelty, but locals, especially market vendors and early morning students, still use them regularly. Head over to a fresh market at sunrise, and you'll see tuk-tuks overloaded with bananas, chilies, and greens, like mobile fruit bowls navigating traffic. In Bangkok, most people are familiar with the classic yellow and blue Tuk Tuk, basically a three-seater go-kart with a roof. But explore a little beyond the Grand Palace, and you'll spot other versions. In some quieter neighborhoods, you'll see larger six-seaters that resemble mini pickup trucks. These operate more like shared vans, cruising short, fixed routes like they're shuttling folks up and down the same long street on repeat. In even quieter corners of the city, like Pak Kret, you might stumble upon tuk-tuk's pedal-powered ancestors still doing their thing. Rickshaws that rely on the strength of a driver pedaling from behind, slowly but surely. But the tuk-tuk game really changes as you travel beyond Bangkok. In places like Trang or Ayutthaya, you'll meet the famous frog-head tuk-tuks, painted green and shaped a bit like a cartoon amphibian. Up in the hills or in smaller towns like Kanchanaburi, tuk-tuks often look like homemade hybrids, basically a motorbike with a passenger cart bolted to the side or back, padded seats and all. They may look scrappy, but they get the job done. On islands like Phuket or Koh Phangan, tuk-tuks evolve yet again into larger Songteo-style trucks that carry more passengers, but still charge you as if you're in your own private cab. Classic island pricing logic. Now, let's talk money and street smarts. Tuk-tuks don't have meters, so you're not dealing with standardized pricing. It's all about the art of negotiation. Drivers often throw out high numbers first, especially if you look like you just landed from the airport. If you don't haggle, you'll probably pay a lot more than a local would. Most short rides start at around 50 baht, but if you're lucky or look confident, you might snag one for 40. That said, some tuk-tuk drivers have a bit of a reputation. The classic scam? Offering you a super low fare, or even a free ride, only to take you on a detour to a tailor shop, gem store, or some special attraction where they earn a commission. The best way to avoid this? Stick to tuk-tuks in local markets or away from tourist traps, and always agree on the price before hopping in. Remorque motor. Back in the day, the remorque motor was a familiar sight on Cambodia's roads, a trailer-style carriage hitched to the back of a motorcycle, like a budget-friendly minibus on two wheels. But times have changed, and these beasts of burden are now becoming a rare sight, gradually edged out by their flashier, zippier cousin, the India-made motorized tuk-tuk. Think of it like VHS versus streaming. Same basic function, but one's just faster, cheaper, and way more convenient. The remorque motor runs on petrol, which automatically makes it pricier to operate compared to the more economical LPG-powered tuk-tuks. But here's the kicker. It can carry a lot more people. Depending on how long the trailer is, a remorque motor can haul up to 30 passengers at once. That's practically a party bus compared to the India tuk-tuk, which can squeeze in 3 adults comfortably, maybe 4 if you really like each other. Of course, size is a double-edged sword. While tuk-tuks dart through traffic like a squirrel in a maze, slipping through tight spots, using both car and bike lanes, and occasionally hopping onto sidewalks for good measure, the remorque motor is more like a lumbering giraffe trying to navigate a crowded elevator. Its sheer length makes it clunky in city traffic, and as a result, Phnom Penh has restricted its use to nighttime hours only to help keep the streets moving during the day. And much like the old-school pedal-powered rickshaws, the remorque motor seems to be on its farewell tour. Between ride-hailing apps, air-conditioned city buses, and the ever-growing fleet of compact tuk-tuks, its days may be numbered. But out in places like Svay Rolam Commune in Kandal Province, there are still a few drivers holding the line. Now, the remorque motor may not have the speed, convenience, or sleekness of modern alternatives, but for many, it still holds a nostalgic charm. Chicken bus. Imagine a party bus, but it's not heading to a nightclub. It's barreling down the winding roads of Guatemala, decked out like a rolling fiesta with flashing lights, booming music, and a paint job so bright it makes highlighters jealous. That's a chicken bus. You don't just see them, you hear them before they even turn the corner, like a parade announcing its own arrival. Locals, travelers, street vendors, school kids, you name it, rely on these flamboyant beasts of the road to get from town to town. Riding one feels like being part of a fast-moving block party with a splash of chaos. And if you're wondering why they're called chicken buses, well, sometimes there are actual chickens on board, along with sacks of vegetables, crates of flowers, buckets of paint, and maybe someone's new fridge. In Guatemala, they're called La Camioneta, La Burra, or just El Bus. Depending on the route, they get special nicknames, like the ones going from Guatemala City to Antigua being dubbed La Antigueña, or the ones to Lake Atitlan called Las Pedranas. Each route has its vibe and its regulars. The chicken buses didn't start out in Guatemala. They're old American school buses. Yes, the big yellow ones you used to ride as a kid. When they've racked up over 150,000 miles or so and retired from their schoolyard duties, they're auctioned off for a couple $1,000 and driven all the way down to Central America. Then comes the real magic. They get stripped down and rebuilt, turning into the most colorful, souped-up rides you've ever seen. Think of it as Pimp My Ride Bus Edition. Each bus is a rolling canvas. Many are named after women, like Esmeralda, and are jazzed up with chrome bumpers, glowing LEDs, and murals that range from religious icons to fire-breathing dragons. Inside, it's no less of a spectacle. There are TVs playing telenovelas, neon lights, monster speakers pumping reggaeton or cumbia, and sometimes even karaoke machines. It's like stepping into a mobile nightclub, minus the velvet rope. The driver doesn't ride solo. He's got his right-hand man, the brosha or assistant. The brosha is the multitasking hero, collecting fares, shouting out destinations, and launching cargo onto the roof like he's training for an Olympic shot put event. If you're bringing big bags or crates, he's the guy making sure it stays put while you're zipping through mountain roads. Now, hopping on a chicken bus isn't your typical tap a card and sit quietly experience. First, you need cash. Small bills, always. When it rolls in, flag it down and climb aboard fast, because these buses don't wait around. Seats fill up quickly, and often what should be a two-person bench ends up seating 4. If you're lucky, your ride will include vendors hopping on at stops to sell sandwiches, drinks, or little trinkets. There's often a lingering smell of freshly made pan con polo or spicy pan con chile floating through the bus, courtesy of a mamita walking down the aisle with a basket on her hip. But let's be real, chicken buses aren't for everyone. They're wild, loud, and definitely not built for comfort. Seatbelts? Forget it. A smooth ride? More like a roller coaster on wheels, especially on mountain routes. And if you're going to the Pacific Coast, be ready to sweat. It gets steamy and stuffy real quick. On the plus side, they're fast. Sometimes a little too fast. Drivers don't mess around, and even with winding roads and sharp turns, these buses zoom like they're in a race against time. Just keep your belongings close and your wits about you. Pickpockets are a thing. As for schedules, well, welcome to the analog era. Few bus companies have websites, and finding an exact timetable might involve a little detective work or just asking the señora selling tortillas nearby. There are some helpful online resources like Rutas Orientales, but the best strategy is still word of mouth at the terminal. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.